Morning, 6 till 10 weekdays. I'm Paul DeCastro on 710 WOR, an NBC News radio station.
Tired of losing money in the stock market roller coaster? Frustrated with the government taxing you into oblivion? Worried about inflation? How do you prepare for so many financial uncertainties? Welcome to the show that will help you develop your game plan. The Financial Quarterback with Josh Jalinski. Josh is a noted financial advisor and president of the Jalinski Advisory Group, and he's here to answer your questions. Call into the show at 800-321-0710. 800-321-0710. Now, let's kick off your financial future. Here's Josh Jalinski.
Okay, we're back talking about the billionaire's tax and whatever questions you have at 800-321-0710. If you have questions on stocks, bonds, annuities, mutual funds, whatever question you have, no question is a dumb one, except the one that you do not ask. So call us now, 800-321-0710. So how do you choose a retirement plan if you are self-employed? Not everyone has a boss. In an economy upended by COVID, individuals, sometimes by choice and sometimes not, are striking out on their own and starting new businesses or becoming a part of the gig economy. A critical issue for you may be how to save for retirement. If you are self-employed, you may be asking which retirement account is best for you. This question requires careful analysis because there is no one right plan for everyone. Contribution limits are not the only factors to consider. You must also think about cost, ease of administration, and accessibility of funds to consider. Call me right now at 800-321-0710 if you have a question for me. 800-321-0710 if you have a question on stocks, bonds, annuities, mutual funds, whatever question you have. No question is a dumb one, except the one that you do not ask. So call us now. So a knowledgeable financial advisor can help answer your questions you may have in making your decision. Give us a call, 888-988-5674, and we'll help you choose the right retirement plan for your business. For many who are new to gig work or have just started their own business, the best place to save or to start saving for retirement may be a Roth IRA or traditional IRA. It's the easiest and cheapest way to go. It requires simply making a contribution, writing a check. However, the annual contribution limits are much lower than for those of other retirement savings plans, so that's the negative. For 2021, the max IRA contribution is $6,000 for those under age 50 and $7,000 for those 50 or older. For those just starting out, the low dollar limit may not be a problem. It may be the perfect amount for you. But for higher earners, it may not allow enough savings. For those who are interested in a Roth option, a Roth IRA may be a good deal because there are no Roth options available for SEP IRA or simple IRA plans. However, Roth IRAs are subject to income limits, so this may not work for those with higher incomes. However, you can do a Roth solo 401k or a Roth 401k and then pair that with a cash balance pension plan. So there's a lot of options for you. So a one participant 401k, sometimes people call it a UniK or Uni 401k. Some people call it an individual 401k, sometimes a solo 401k. A key point to understand is that a solo 401k is simply a type of 401k plan and is subject to many of the regular 401k rules. However, because there can be no employees other than you and your spouse, these plans are exempt from complicated testing that is required of most 401ks. A self-employed individual can sock away $26,500 in 2021. If 50 or older, $19,500 in 2021. So you can defer up to 100% of your compensation, whereas with a SEP, you can only defer 25% of your compensation. So when people ask me SEP or solo 401k, now I need to understand the fact pattern, but generally I'm pro solo 401k over a SEP for most small business owners. And you can sock away up to $58,000 plus an additional catch-up. So consider the solo 401k if you normally do a SEP or a simple. And folks, call us now, 888-988-JOSH, if you want help navigating through that. And call me right now at 800-321-0710 if you have a financial question for us. Now, what's a SEP? One of the most common retirement plan solutions for self-employed plans. That's why it's called the SEP, self-employed. These plans are inexpensive to adopt and administer. However, SEP IRAs only allow employer contributions, not elective deferrals. SEP IRA plans offer a great deal of flexibility. Contributions do not have to be made each year, and the amount can vary. So that's one benefit of the SEP. The plan also does not have to be established or funded until your tax filing deadline, including extensions. So you might say, but my accountant recommended a SEP. That's probably because you came to them and you did your taxes on October 14th or something like that. And it may have been right for you that year, but may not be right for you this year. The SEP limit for self-employed individuals is 20% of up to $290 of compensation. For a SEP for a small business not self-employed, the limit is the same, except 25% is substituted for 20%. There is none of this 20 or 25% with a solo. That's why I like it better. And you could do a solo Roth. So if you make too much money and you're self-employed, a Roth 401k is a great way to go. Then you have a simple IRA. Simple IRAs can also be adopted by self-employed individuals. Generally, a business can only adopt this plan if it's employed 100 or fewer people during the previous calendar year, and it is the only plan sponsored by the employer. Unlike SEPs, simple IRAs allow for employees to defer salary. For 2021, the salary deferral limit is $13,500 plus an additional $3,000. So you could sock away $16,500. These plans also require an annual employer contribution. The annual employer contribution must be either a dollar for dollar matching contribution or a 2% non-elective contribution. If a matching contribution is made, compensation is not limited. A self-employed individual stands in the shoes of both employee and employer. For 2021, the max simple IRA contribution would be $33,000. That's $16,500 in salary deferral plus $16,500 in an employer match. So you got SEPs, you have simples, you have solo 401ks or the uni 401k, and you have defined benefit plans and cash balance pension plans where you could sock away a ton of money. So pick up the phone now, give us a call, 800-321-0710 if you have questions on all matters financial, or call us at 888-988-JOSH. Next up, we have Tom. You're on with Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback, and also we'll be taking questions on the YouTube chat box. We have many of you asking questions, making comments, and we want to thank you. But first, Tom, go ahead.
Hi, good morning. I'm hoping you could answer or explain the rule of 55 as it relates to 401k withdrawals.
What do you mean by the rule of 55? Do you mean if you're no longer working, but you're retired, and between 55 and 59 and a half, you can take money out of your 401k without incurring the 10% penalty? Is that what you're referring to?
Exactly. I'm currently employed, and I may either resign or be terminated relevant to the vaccine mandate, and was wondering about what can I withdraw out of my 401k at the age of 55 that I am now without penalty.
You can withdraw anything. The IRS Rule 55 allows an employee who is laid off, fired, or quits between 55 and 59 and a half to take. You can take as much as you want, but you would have to incur income tax, but you would not incur the 10% early withdrawal penalty. And
that's what I thought I confirmed.
And so will you take the jab or no?
No, I'm planning on not taking the jab.
Yeah, I think it's really amazing how now we have this interesting political dilemma. People are being forced. What's going to happen? There's going to be no 25% less sanitation workers, pilots, police officers, fire in New York. It really could be a very major problem. And my guess is they'll lay you off, they'll fire you, and then they'll want to hire you back because there will be a shortage of workers. We're hearing that. I agree. In New Jersey, it's very funny. They forced all the nurses to get the vaccine. And then they said, you know what, we're granting you all the religious exemption. I've been hearing that. So they weren't allowing it, then they were. And it's very interesting. I have the option for both exemptions, and I'm trying for both. But if either of those fail, I may consider departing. The thought here is, if I don't stand for something, I can't stand for anything. No, yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do. I believe in freedom. We're still in the U.S. Although, to be honest, the religious exemption is not freedom. That's an exemption. But however you might be taking it, I feel bad for what you're going through. I guess Monday we'll find out how many people show up for work with the vaccine mandates in New York. But anyway, thanks for your question and comment. Any other questions? No, that's it. Thank you very much. And we have a lot of people, a lot of listeners who are forcibly retiring due to the vaccine mandate who want to know, can I retire? How can I live off of what I got saved? Call us at 888-988-JOSH and we'll answer the question of, can you retire and at one income? And we will map out your very own customizable income strategy. So call us now at 888-988-JOSH. Up next, we're going to take more of your calls at 800-321-0710. This is Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. Don't touch that dial.
Are you worried about the recent coronavirus crisis and how it may have affected your money? Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback.
By you guys ending the live show now,
complimentary 6 ways to keep calm during turbulent markets webinar. If you schedule and keep your no-obligation webinar today at 888-988-JOSH. It's a great thing to do. If you're stuck at home under stay-at-home orders, call us right now, 888-988-JOSH.
Because you have all these listeners.
There's never been a better time to get a second opinion on your wealth than right now. 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674. And go to my website, retirementrealitycheck.com today and take your free investment profile quiz. And when you buy my book, you're eligible for 3 free gifts. 888-988-JOSH.
Call Josh Jalinski, host of the popular Financial Quarterback radio program. 888-988-JOSH.
Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback here. In these uncertain financial times, it is imperative that you guard your financial future. If you call within the next 3 minutes, we will offer our complimentary bear market survival guide, which will detail steps to help your plan to potentially survive the COVID-19 crisis. The bear market survival guide will cover how you might still be able to retire amid a volatile economic climate. We will throw in our complimentary 27-point ultimate game plan for retirement. Call us at 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674 for your bear market survival guide.
Call Josh Jalinski, host of the popular Financial Quarterback radio program. 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH.
Okay, we're back. This is Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. Question from 850. Any way to sidestep taxes on the RMDs going forward on an $800,000 401k? We'll answer that. And folks, we are live on YouTube. Just go to Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. Our new YouTube is live, and we're taking your calls. We have Stu on gold and silver. Go ahead, Stu.
Yes, how are you this morning?
Wonderful, Stu.
Well, it seems like as we go through time here, it just becomes harder to know what to invest into. It's almost biblical. It talks about all man's assets will go to nil in an hour, and they will take their gold and silver and throw it into the streets because it will become a canker. But I'm wondering what your advice is with investing in gold and silver versus, let's say, annuities or stock market or something like that.
Well, biblical, if they throw the gold and silver in the street, maybe it wouldn't be good long term. I got to you got to give me that Bible verse. I'll look it up and we'll see if we'll see what it's really saying. I think sometimes a lot of people use the Bible to get certain investing tips. I mean, I like Proverbs for principles of sound money, but sometimes people are too apocalyptic and, you know, they hide all their money and they really don't earn anything with it. So you got to be careful of minding the call to be prepared for uncertainty and troubling times with also, you know, being a good steward. So gold and silver may have a place in your portfolio. I would say no more than 5 or 10%, generally because they are still volatile asset classes, can still lose money, and we don't conduct any business in gold or silver. And what's fascinating is to see gold plummet as Bitcoin is rising. But I have no problem with somebody having 5 to 10% in gold. However, I would not buy gold from commissionable gold salespeople. You can buy spot gold ETFs. You can, buy some things for yourself. We're not giving any investment advice as it relates to gold over the airways, but you can certainly call me for an 888-988-JOSH review, and we'll go through that with you. But, you can't eat gold, right?
Right.
So a lot of people, the world's going to hell. I don't like the political landscape. We're preparing for the apocalypse. So basically, gold will save us. I think people are just trying to grasp for certainty in an uncertain world. And to me, the principle of economic certainty is do what you can to prepare for the future. Have a reservoir of water, have rain collecting tanks, have a year's worth of food storage. Do those things. That's going to protect you a lot more than having gold. Does that make sense? If we go through these troubling times that people are thinking we're going through, and you might have, 10 grand of gold, 30 grand of gold, 20 grand of gold. That'll be more than what most people have. So if people will conduct business in gold, but people don't conduct business in gold. They conduct it in the dollar, and more people are conducting it in certain cryptocurrencies as well. So we'll see what happens with that, or Bitcoin. I think gold is fine for a inflation hedge to have a certain percentage, but you got to be careful to, if the Bible, people worry. I've had people make very dumb decisions financially because they're using the Bible to interpret current events because of their own fear, and they make very stupid financial decisions because they're watching some televangelist, or something like that. So I'm not, we're all to be ready, watchful, prepared. But there's one thing to be prepared and the other thing to be fearful. Does that make sense?
Right. Can you tell me with cryptid
the
money?
Bible, if you read the Bible, also says to fear not. I've read 365 times or something like that. So fear really has no place. And a lot of people will use fear as an incentive to sell stuff like gold bars while watching, cable news networks. So you got to be careful about that stuff. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Can you tell me about crypto money? What is actually the intrinsic value of that? What backs it?
Which cryptocurrency? Just any? I think 99% of all cryptocurrencies are probably a bad place to put your money in. And we're not giving any advice on cryptos, but I would be very careful of investing in cryptocurrencies. Now, Bitcoin is completely different than most cryptocurrencies in that there is a limited supply. It is decentralized, but the vast majority of cryptocurrencies mean nothing. Dogecoin, nothing. Shiba Inu, nothing. Ethereum, this is very interesting. Ethereum now, nothing, because Zuckerberg is getting into NFTs and he's going to have lower gas prices, gas fees, which may put Ethereum out of business. Now, maybe not, but you got to be careful with cryptos. Does that make sense?
What is the intrinsic value? What backs Bitcoin? What? I mean, at one time, let's say paper currency was backed by silver or gold, and then that was done away with. But what actually backs Bitcoin? What type of insurance or let's say
there is no insurance backing Bitcoin, and really in much of cryptocurrencies there is no backing. There is a central actor. They are centralized. Now, the benefit of Bitcoin over the others is that it is decentralized and there is a limited supply, and it's the power of consensus and basically that you don't have to trust other people. It's based on the principle of distrust and the network. So there's a lot to be said for Bitcoin. We'll do that for another show. But next up, we'll go to Gordon. And thanks so much for the call, Stu. And then we have Ray. Well, let's do Ray first, then Gordon. Ray wants to protect his money for his kids. What a nice dad or granddad. Go ahead, Ray.
Yes, Josh, I was looking at an irrevocable trust, put my assets in to try to protect what I have for my children for when I die. I'm 74 years old. I have a large amount of money in an Ira, which is you can't put into an irrevocable trust. And even if I try to start taking money from the IRA and putting it into the irrevocable trust, as I understand it, there's a look back of 5 years. And if God forbid I end up in a nursing home 2 years from now, they can look back and see what I put into the irrevocable trust, and they can go after it. Is there any way I could protect that money for my children?
So there's a lot of ways to protect your children from creditors, predators, in-laws, and outlaws by having a coordinated plan. Now, you protect them from income taxes by passing Roths and life insurance. Those pass tax-free. You protect them from creditors, so say you leave all this money to your kids and they get sued. Well, that's the beauty of having a trust. And you might want to look at a dynasty trust. Now, I'm not giving legal advice because I'm not an attorney, but you may want to consider a trust that allows you to pass money to your bloodlines, creditor proof and divorce proof. So if your in-law becomes an outlaw, your in-law, your daughter-in-law or son-in-law doesn't walk away with the money you gave your child. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, but I don't have that issue. My issue is the nursing home could go after the money from my IRA and they also can go after the money that I take out of the IRA and put into the irrevocable trust if it's within the 5-year window.
No, exactly. So you also may want to have a Medicaid-proof plan, a long-term care strategy, and we can certainly help you to do that. But you don't want to just go to an attorney and get a trust. You want an attorney to build a trust for you that is a part of your overall financial plan. Does that make sense? Because, for example, if you leave a 401k to a trust, you may not realize that that is a taxable event. So you might lose a third to 40% of your whole IRA if you do it the wrong way. So call us at 888-988-JOSH, and I can help you navigate the competing goals of income taxes, 401k growth, and long-term care protection. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So, and what I mean by that is, 401ks, you may not want that to go into a trust. You may want to drain that over 5 years or 10 years to do a strategic rollout and put it into a trust over a schedule of 5 to 10 years.
Josh, I have a traditional IRA. I don't have a 401.
Okay. So, but it works the same way in that it is pre-tax dollars that have never been taxed.
Right, exactly.
So if you fund that directly into a trust, it will be a taxable event. So you have to plan a distribution strategy so that if you have money within the IRA, you slowly pay the tax over, let's say, a 5 or 10 year period before it goes into a trust. So give us a call, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674. Next up, we have Gordon. Gordon, you're on with Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. Go ahead.
Yes, Josh, good morning. A couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I think, you had an interesting interview with Jeff Snyder. And I think the major point of the interview was that the Federal Reserve has less power over our interest rates than people think, and that the world financial system is full of non-transparent entities that also are affecting interest rates. Could you give me what is your opinion on the most salient points of your interview with Jeff Snyder, the points that he made?
I don't know. There's a lot of truth. The euro dollar is the most liquidly traded thing on the futures market. But I'm not an expert in the euro dollar futures. I really have no expertise in that area. So do I think we need to evaluate it just because he said it? Sure, he made some compelling arguments. Do I think he's, you got to realize you got to be discerning students, right?
Yeah.
He made some compelling points. I had asked many people about that myself, and the argument I heard in favor of what he was saying, I will reveal to you after the break. So we'll take a break, and then when we return, talk about the Eurodollar futures market. We're not giving any advice on futures. And Lawrence, who is a 64-year-old taxi driver, on how to prepare for retirement. Up next, this is Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. Don't touch that dial.
It's always on your mind. Retirement, whether you're 55 or 35. Not everyone wants to work forever, and most would like a comfortable retirement. You may already have a plan, but is it the right one? Josh Jalinski, host of the popular Financial Quarterback radio program, is ready to guide you towards financial freedom. He challenges the ways your parents and grandparents saved money with fresh strategies, which are exactly what you need to navigate today's volatile economic climate. Josh's new book, Retirement Reality Check, is available to order on Amazon. It's an easy read that guides you through his system for securing your financial freedom, including tax-saving strategies, understanding the right investment mix, and more. Order now. Retirement Reality Check. Call Josh at 888-988-JOSH. Let Josh help you map out your retirement using fresh strategies. Call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674.
You're not a dummy.
So we're back. This is Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. We have an election in New Jersey, and people are saying Jack Ciattarelli versus Phil Murphy. I welcome them all to come onto the show Sunday. I would love to have an interview with both of them. I believe my producer reached out to both campaigns, and they declined. So my prediction, I think, people are talking about Phil Murphy and Jack Ciattarelli. I don't think Phil Murphy's in danger. So my prediction is probably Phil Murphy wins by 6 points and Virginia goes to the Republican by 1 percentage point. That's my prediction. Predictions are worthless, but they're fun to do. I don't see New Jersey going red. I did give the prescription on how New Jersey would go red, but apparently wasn't listened to. New Jersey needs a 4% flat income tax. New Jersey needs a property tax cap of no more than 1% of property taxation. But anyway, no one listens to me. Go ahead, Lawrence, 64-year-old taxi driver. He wants to know, how can he prepare for retirement? Go ahead.
Yes, Josh, nice to talk to you. Look, 5 months ago, I purchased a taxi medallion in New York City for $70,000 cash money. And my retirement Social Security is in bad shape. It's only $900, but I didn't retire yet. So for a short term, 5-6 years, I intended to work. I wanted to work. What advice you would give me for this 6 years left in my cab career?
Okay, well, number one, you have 6 years from retirement. So you're in what we call the retirement red zone. Number one tip, get a protection, savings, and growth model. I will give it to you for free if you call us at 888-988-JOSH and request your own PS&G model talk. What the heck am I talking about? What is a protection, savings, and growth model talk? So, Lawrence, you have to protect yourself from a car incident, a home fire, a liability, disability, long-term care, life insurance, unemployment. So you have to protect yourself. So protection is like the moat around your financial castle. Then we have to look to your castle. So you want to fill your moat with alligators. Is your car insurance properly structured? Is your life insurance properly structured? Do you have long-term care insurance? Making sure you are okay if you have a disability. A lot of people underestimate healthcare costs in retirement. So that is the P in the PS&G model. S is savings. You want to make sure you have 6 months of liquidity in the bank. Then you want to make sure you're taking advantage of all of the tax savings mechanisms you can to make sure you are protected. God forbid something happens. Does that make sense, Lawrence?
Yes.
So you want to have
Definitely,
tax savings vehicles, tax deferred vehicles, tax-free vehicles like Roths. You want to make sure you have a distribution plan for your IRAs, because if tax rates might go up in the future, your taxes, and if President Biden's tax plan goes through, a lot of people who've saved might pay more in income taxes while they're retired, because most people's biggest asset is their IRA. Now, that doesn't mean you don't do an IRA. It means you have a distribution plan. I want everybody to write this question down. Do you have a distribution plan on your IRA?
I don't have anything. So in this moment, I do not have anything.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you need first get the PS&G model. That stands for protect, tax savings, and then growth strategies in this uncertain time that we're living in. So is that simple enough? PSG, protect, save, grow.
PSG, G.
And if you call me at 888-988-JOSH, because it seems like, you're just trying to get ahead and make sure you have enough money to retire in 6 years, I will give you the PS&G model free, you or any of our listeners, when you schedule and keep your no obligation review, okay?
Okay.
The other thing is you want to have an income plan, meaning what is the income you're going to need if you add up Social Security and pensions, and if you don't have a pension, how can you build your own personal pension by having a withdrawal strategy from your investments? So there is a safe withdrawal strategy, which William Bengen calls Safe Max, meaning there's a maximum rate you can take out of a portfolio safely. David McKnight just alluded to it. It's the 4% rule. And so if you have $1 million saved for retirement, that would mean you can't take out more than $40,000 per year. And then maybe you have Social Security, which is $30,000 per year. Maybe your spouse has it at $15,000. 45 grand plus 40 is 85 grand a year. And maybe that'll be enough to retire. But I don't know how much you have saved. How much do you have saved for retirement?
I have this asset, the yellow taxi medallion in New York City. I can count on if I retire and I lease my medallion to another driver, it's going to be like probably $2,000 a month.
Okay. So you can sell the medallion for about a $2,000 a month stipend?
I don't sell the medallion. I lease the medallion to another driver.
Okay. And just make sure you have the proper legal work to protect you from that. So you have a personal guarantee. That's critical.
It's like an income of $2,000 a month plus the Social Security, $1,000, and my wife something. I can survive with around $4,000 a month.
Yeah, and we can help you map out a plan. And that's a shame. Medallions used to fetch a lot more, right?
Yeah, it used to be $1 million, $1.2 million. But right now, I purchased one with cash money. I purchased for only $70,000, and the business is very good in New York City right now. The taxi business is booming.
Oh, well, that's good. That's because Uber charges the same, and the taxi drivers of Uber don't know what they're doing. So
No. The Uber increased the prices with 40%.
Yes, yeah. Uber, after trying to bankrupt everybody, yeah. It's funny. Uber used to be cheaper. Now it's cheaper to get a real taxi.
Yellow taxi is much cheaper.
And they're better drivers, too. So
yeah, Uber goes with double price.
Yes, double price, and they don't know what they're doing. I one time had an Uber driver show up at my house because I couldn't get a regular taxi service because I had to run right to the hospital. And the guy was like afraid of me because of COVID, the guy, And so I was putting on my mask, and because I didn't have the mask on, the minute he picked up, he left me. A yellow cab driver would never do that. So thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you very much.
And, and I was putting on my mask, but because I didn't have it on the split second, the guy left. And then I was driving to the hospital to see my child who was near, thank God he's okay, but, he wasn't doing well at the time. And so this guy, I'm like, I don't want to drive an hour and a half to the hospital with this clown. So I didn't even try to, say, oh, no, I'm going to wear it. I was like, okay, if this is how this guy's going to be for an hour and a half, I will go elsewhere. So go yellow cab taxi drivers. And Lawrence, we're there to help you as you want to protect your future with an income plan. We can map out your income plan. Do you know we can do this? You can map out your plan from, how old are you, Ernesto?
I am 49.
from 49 to 99. We can account for every year. We can put the Biden tax hikes in, show you how that will affect your IRAs and 401ks. We'll show you how inflation would affect your plan. We'll show you how Social Security strategies will affect it. And it will be customizable based on your numbers. So call us now, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674, 888-988-JOSH, and we'll give you your very own protection, savings, and growth review free when you schedule and keep your no-obligation review at 888-988-JOSH. Also, 850 has this to say on YouTube: how do you minimize taxes on a 401k when the account owner is in the mid-80s and doesn't need the cash for expenses and would like to pass the RMDs on to children? You can't really pass RMDs on to children. So what you do is, let's say you have 800 grand in a 401k. You take 80 grand out per year. This is an example of a strategic rollout. I'm not giving financial advice, and you need to call us for a customizable plan. You take the 80 grand out a year. You pay the tax at your lower rates based on the Trump tax code. You sock that away in a Roth. That'll grow tax-free for your heirs for a minimum of 10 years. Or you can gift it to them. They buy life insurance, cash value life insurance on their life. And if they're 50, you can get 40 years of tax-free growth if they live till 90. So there's a lot of powerful strategies. Or you can put it into trusts. Or you can put it into stocks that do not pay a dividend, or index funds. The benefit of that is that money grows tax-free for as long as your kids live. And they only have to pay taxes if they sell the shares. Do what Warren Buffett does. Be like Warren. Call us, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674. And we're going to tell you how much Warren Buffett collected in dividends from Apple, even though his company doesn't pay out dividends because he doesn't want to be taxed on those dividends. We'll talk about that when we return. This is Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. Don't touch that dial.
Hey, meet you out on the first tee?
Yeah, I'll be right there. Just reading this article.
On what?
New bill Congress passed. Looks like it's going to affect the value of all retirement savings plans. My financial guy didn't tell me about this when I saw him the other day.
Well, my guy did, and we made a plan. You may have heard of him, Josh Jalinski.
Josh Jalinski is your guy?
Listen, if you're 10 years or less from retirement,
which I am,
Josh will give you a free economic plan, which includes retirement planning, a 27-point checklist to make sure your income lasts as long as you live. He'll even help you navigate the current tax code.
I'm definitely going to call Josh.
Cool, but first, can we play some golf?
Call Josh Jalinski, host of the popular Financial Quarterback radio program, for your free economic plan. 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-JOSH.
Are you worried about the recent coronavirus crisis and how it may have affected your money? Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback, inviting you to join me for my complimentary 6 Ways to Keep Calm During Turbulent Markets webinar. If you schedule and keep your no-obligation webinar today at 888-988-JOSH. It's a great thing to do if you're stuck at home under stay-at-home orders. Call us right now, 888-988-JOSH. If you're bored, there's never been a better time to get a second opinion on your wealth than right now. 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674. And go to my website, retirementrealitycheck.com today and take your free investment profile quiz. And when you buy my book, you're eligible for 3 free gifts. 888-988-JOSH.
Call Josh Jalinski, host of the popular Financial Quarterback radio program. 888-988-JOSH.
Okay, we're back. This is Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. Danny has a financial problem. Danny, go ahead.
Hey, Josh, thanks for having me. Big fan. Greatly appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm looking for like a Hail Mary right here. So, I mean, 34 years old, married, 4 kids, 6, 4, 2, and 9 months, all girls. I got a mortgage, probably about $300,000 on it. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I had another full-time job as a union painter at the hospital, and I've been recently laid off because I didn't get the jab. so they've been terminated. So now I'm just trying to figure out, what's like the playbook, for someone in my situation.
Well, do you still have your one job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I still have my real estate job. I've been doing that for many years. I do okay. It pays the bills, but I wouldn't say it supports a family of 6 now. And a mortgage. So the hospital job. I was a painter there. It was good for the benefits. It paid me every 2 weeks. It was okay, but most importantly, it was good for the benefits. So now I lost that, but between both, I was probably making like 125, 150 a year. Now without the job with the benefits, I'm probably making maybe 100, under 100.
Well, you may apply for some Obamacare subsidies for the health care plan. So I would look into that. Number 2, I would focus on your real estate career. I would spend 80 to 90 hours a week building that.
Right.
So you have freedom. You could brand yourself a whole lot of things, or you could get a job as a painter somewhere else. A lot of people are buying new homes in the suburbs, and they need good painters. And
the caveat also is, my wife and I, we also want to move, to a bigger house, and it's going to be almost impossible to do that.
Well, I wouldn't move to the bigger house yet until you get your financial house in order. I would make sure too many people, this is more of a business thing. Are you making 100 calls a day? You need to be making 100 calls a day. That would be my tip.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm working 24/7 in real estate.
So,
however, where we are now, we just outgrown our space, and
No. What I'm saying is, you got to build your career such that you're making so much income from the real estate career, then you build the house. And bunk beds. It's good that kids share a room. It's fun, good for their character. They have to do it when they go to college anyway, so.
Yeah. I can hold my breath for that. I can wait. With 4 daughters, I think I can wait for them to go to college. I'm certainly in no rush.
No, what I'm saying is they're young enough where they could share a room, have fun experiences, sharing a room. You keep the baby probably separate. But sharing
we do that already. They share a room just with one full bath, and 2 half baths, and we're at the point where we're climbing up the walls here, So
no, I know, but you said you just lost your job. I wouldn't be looking to increase
I wouldn't even be able to, because a W-2 versus my 1099 to apply for a new mortgage, I wouldn't even be able to get it. I know with any change of job or loss of job in the process of buying a new house, it's.
And the solution is more income. So I would really focus on one of 2 things. Either find a painting job in a hospital that doesn't mandate the vaccine.
Yeah, in New York, that's almost impossible.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So basically, but you got to realize there's going to be a job shortage. So they're going to find ways to ease.
It's crazy.
That eventually.
I'm scared. I'm scared for what's going to come, for what may come, come Monday. If a lot of people just walk off the job, I don't know. I mean, I got family. My father was a retired cop. I have a brother-in-law in sanitation. I just didn't feel comfortable getting it. My family got it. My
yeah, I mean, that's up to you. You probably got COVID.
I probably did.
I think by now, most people, if you haven't gotten the vaccine, most people have already gotten COVID, and they maybe didn't realize it. But you got to protect yourself in this pandemic. But that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you.
This was.
I'm not going to tell you how to live. All I'm just going to say is, from a financial perspective, one of the things that I would focus on is expanding your income. So either go to a hospital system that allows for religious exemption, like maybe in North Jersey and paint for, whatever.
Right.
A hospital system up there. Or focus on the real estate market. Focus on becoming the best darn realtor you can. And use that time, maybe spend the next 6 months really pouring yourself into your real estate career.
Yeah.
And build more activity.
That's the only way. Yeah, there isn't a financial problem that making more money can't solve.
Yeah, that's one tip. The other tip is live below your means. Get rid of all Netflix subscriptions, Disney Plus subscriptions.
Yeah.
Go for a cheaper cell phone bill. There's something called MVNOs. So if you have a name brand cell phone carrier, let's say you like Verizon Towers, you Google Verizon MVNO, and you can get cheaper service and the same towers.
Okay, so more income and trim the fat. Double down on real estate, you're saying, and just basically cancel subscriptions.
Yes, and you want to be calling 100 people a day. I got a call from some realtor yesterday trying to sell my house. Now, you know what? I don't want to sell my house, but she was nice. She got me. So activity breeds results. You call 100 people, you'll get one to say yes to you. It's just a numbers game. That's any successful business typically, right?
I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. Thank you so much.
And you got to focus on trimming the fat, build a financial plan. We could help you with that. A lot of people have 403Bs that are stray cats, not being managed properly. We could show you how to do that as well. Maybe you have a 401k from your old employer, a 403B. We will help you build out a proper strategy. Call us at 888-988-JOSH. A ton of you losing jobs due to this mandate. Eventually there'll be a job shortage, so they'll probably want you back. So give us a call now, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674 for the no obligation review. Next up, we have Mark, who has a question on life insurance and the pension. When we return, although I guess we're gonna stay through the end of the hour. Go ahead, Mark. You're on with Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback.
I work for the New York City Department of Education. I have 1 year left to retire, and they want a $10,000 pension reduction to give my wife my pension should something happen to me, with the pop-up that if something happens to her, it goes back to the original amount. I wanted to know, $10,000 a year, should I look into how much life insurance I could possibly buy to see if there's a difference, if I'd be better off with life insurance?
Oh, yeah. If any of you have a pension decision, should you take the pop-up? Should you take a reduction to leave your spouse or significant other a part of your pension? You have to realize that whether you are thinking you're buying life insurance or not, if you're making $10,000 a month in retirement, and you'll make $9,000 a month if you leave your spouse 25 or 50% of your pension, that means you're buying life insurance at $1,000 a month, and your pension's taxable. So you're buying taxable life insurance, where if you buy life insurance, that benefit is tax-free to your loved one, so they don't need as much of it. So what some people advise is what's called a pension maximization strategy, whereby you leave life insurance to your spouse and take the full pension, disinherit them of the pension. Now, mind you, I don't recommend that in most cases, but you have to do the numbers to see if it's right for you. I've been hearing some police and fire and teachers and people who work for the Board of Ed buying term insurance to protect their spouse of their pension. That's a bad idea, because if you die after the term expires in year 21, your spouse gets no life insurance and no pension. So when you're doing the pension maximization strategy, get term insurance till 100, or term insurance for as long as you live. It's called Guaranteed Universal Life. You may want to look into that. We can help you through that when you're making the pension decision, but you do not want a temporary benefit. Call us now, 888-988-JOSH, to see which pension option is right for you. Call me now, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH. 888-988-5674. With your pension options, not every strategy is right for you, so make sure you get a customizable strategy, and we'll give you the PS&G model free when you call us.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Jalinski Advisory Group. Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications, including 5-Star Wealth Manager, Advisory of the Year finalist by Senior Market Advisor, and top of the $1 Million Roundtable, are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance.